I'm Sherry Allen, and I am the founder of Ohana Beginnings. Ohana Beginnings is a program for women who have either been trafficked or who are facing an unplanned pregnancy. With our program, which I feel is an inspired program. In fact, I have to share with you, I once got asked, where did the idea come from, or how did you get into this? And I started going backwards, kind of through my life. First it was like, oh, I think it was because, I adopted children. And then it was like, well, actually, maybe it was because I had worked as a school counselor and had seen a lot of these teens that were getting pregnant and some of the choices they were making. And then I was like, I'm an adopted child. I think that helping women who are facing an unplanned pregnancy was kind of part of the plan from the beginning. And it's something that I've really, really enjoyed and have watched this grow.
Our story is about adopting our two children, Marty, and Jesse. They have 3 biological children, and we adopted those 2 to kind of complete our family.
We got Martin and Jesse from Detroit, so they were both domestic adoptions. Both of our children we did get at birth, which was a dream for us. They blended into our family, I think, just like if I would have had a baby. Just because it was, they were so little. And when we brought them home, our other 2 were just 2 and 4 years old. And they were so thrilled to have a baby.
We have an open adoption, and so we keep in contact with the birth mother. We felt like that was important, and it's been great.
One thing I think people should know about adoption, at least in our case, is that we had fears before adoption. What if the child doesn't bond with us? What if we don't bond with the child? What if it doesn't feel the same as when we've had our own biological children? And for us, what I always try to tell people is, for us, it felt exactly the same.
So having a baby for 8 months from a teenage daughter was really a joyful experience to be able to have him in our home for 8 months. To place him was a challenge. I was bonded with him, but I also knew that he needed to have a mom and a dad. And my daughter did a great job trying, and she was exhausted, and she was still a teenager, and she needed to grow up and have those experiences. I wanted to keep him. More than anything, I wanted to keep him. The day we handed Asher over to his mom and dad was hard. It was really hard, but it was also the best day. They came to meet him. His sweet mom came in and immediately just started talking to him, and I left the room because I wanted them to have time together. And it was very sweet. They took him the whole day, and I knew he was safe. I knew he was okay. I asked them if they wanted to try overnight, because they'd never had a baby overnight, and he'd never been away from us overnight, and they kept him overnight, and they were so excited. And the next day when they came back, they said, we hope we never lose him. We love him so much. And they started crying, and I started crying, and it's hard to have him go, but it's also so joyful and so amazing, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I want him to have the family that he has, because he's so happy. He's so happy, and that makes me happy.
I got pregnant when I was 19, and I had a little girl, and I found myself in a situation where the father told me that he didn't love me, and it was hard to figure out what to do from there. Thankfully, I found an adoption agency that taught me everything I needed to know. They took me to some girls that had kept their babies. They took me to their homes and showed me how they were doing it and how they were living and how they were making a living and what they needed to be able to take care of their child. Because then they also took me to see some girls that had placed their babies for adoption. And I had just noticed that it felt right. I felt like I needed to move on. I felt like this child that I was going to have, honestly, I didn't feel like she was mine. I love her and I know she's mine, but I knew she was not mine. I knew that I would not be raising her. So my daughter is now 31 years old, and I've always had a relationship with her mom and her dad, and she has a brother. And her mom feels like my sister. I feel like I knew her before. So we have a really good relationship.
From a very young age, I've always kind of wanted to adopt. When Nate and I started dating, I said, just so you know, I have a feeling that we're gonna adopt one day.
I grew up, my oldest sister is adopted actually, and she's Korean, and so I grew up with that my whole life, and she's part of our family, and we love her, and can't imagine life without her. So
It's true.
we've tried to have children. We've done 5 rounds of IVF, and have not had success with that. And so for life to exist and happen, so many things have to line up perfectly. It's amazing that anyone exists at all, really. We haven't been able to have children. We've tried, but to have the pieces all aligned so there can be life,
It's a miracle. It's all a miracle.
It is, and I don't think either route is easy. I don't think adoption is easy, but
If you want to raise that baby, have a support system. If it's not right for you to raise a baby, then know that there are people out there that would love your baby and that child that is so special. And like Nate said, that it's a miracle that babies are born. And we know that so well, and we understand that so well because we've had to struggle having children, and just knowing all that we've had to do to try and have that child. It's all a miracle, and that baby would be loved no matter by who.